This week on the Authors Exchange, we're talking to Daniel Schiavello, author of Thoughts of Expression. Book, give it to her, write your name in it, and say, you know what, Daniel gave these poems to me, and I'm going to give them to you, and it'll get you out of Dutch if you're in Dutch with your wife.
I tell every guy I know, use this book.
Use the book. The Authors Exchange. Your host, Captain Christopher German. Brought to you by The Charted Life. And sponsored by Whither We Tend, a novel by Captain Christopher German. Welcome to the This is Captain Christopher German coming to you for Charted Life Television and our brand new program. This is the Authors Exchange. I will be your host, and we'll be doing this every week on Fridays. It's going to air at noon, and we're going to have it on all kinds of channels. Right now, we're on things like Spotify and Deezer and a bunch of those, but we're also going to be putting up on Google and iTunes and all other good stuff like that. I have a very special guest today. This is a gentleman I've gotten to know through the Authors Exchange, which is a Facebook group we started a couple weeks ago. And quite frankly, this guy is almost my co-founder. He has invited so many people onto this page, and he's been such a great asset to the whole page, and he's done some amazing work and brought some great authors together. And the entire purpose of the page is to bring authors together so that we can help each other out and help sell books. But, you know, since we have this, we might as well talk to our authors and learn about their amazing works and learn about their books. Now, Daniel Schiavello, he's a poet. He's also a musician. He's an author. He does everything. He even makes coleslaw. And you should hear this guy sing, because we're going to play some videos of his music today. But first off, let's talk to the man and let's find out a little bit about his book, Thoughts of Expression. You can get it on Kindle. It's available on Amazon. Check this book out, because it's a really loving read. It'll give you the warm and tinglies. How you doing today, Daniel? Why don't you say a few things about your book and get us started?
Yeah, I'm Dan Schiavello. How you doing, Chris? Yeah, I mean, basically, it was inspired by my fiance at the time. I was just writing her love poetry and things like that. And I always wanted to be a writer. And she was like, well, why don't you publish it? Give it a shot. And, I procrastinated and I put it off. And, I was playing the music and, I'm good with that. And, so finally, this one publishing company just kept bothering me to publish it, so I went ahead and did it. And, I'm glad I did.
Well, that's cool. How's your success been thus far? Have you been doing well with sales? How's it going for you?
It's going okay. I mean, ranking is, I'm probably in the low 100,000s, but, my sales and royalties are like quarterly, so I really don't have any, concrete results yet. But I know it's selling. Put it that way.
Yeah, I'm the author of Whither We Tend, and I've actually just published in February, so I'm still in the same boat right now because I have no idea if it's selling. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm finding that the writing is easier than the marketing and the promotion.
Well, I read a post about that back when I was just thinking about publishing, and it's like it says you write your book, and then you have to have a full-time job marketing your book, and it's
yes.
Like, it really is. I mean, you spend every damn day looking at the analytics and finding out what's going on and all that kinds of good stuff. So, and I see you're really active on Facebook with your posts and all the things that you're doing out there. And you're also let's talk a little bit about your music right now, because this is another way to talk about your writing ability, but also your musicality and getting that book sold. Where are you touring right now, and what are you doing for your music performances?
Okay, basically, I network with some other musicians. I do a solo thing. I have a residency at Mike's Seafood in Seattle City all summer long. And that's great because I can bring other musicians in to play with me. I do it solo. I have a little machine that does the drums and the bass and all that, and I sing and play over top of that. But I also play with a guy named JC Keys and a few other musicians. But yeah, I mean, basically, like me and JC will play Jersey City, New York City, Staten Island, Philadelphia, but a lot of the Jersey Shore. A lot of it's on the shore in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Up north, down south.
Well, but that's something I'm learning out here in Utah. I mean, there's no human beings out where I'm at right now, but the advantage that you have to be able to get that many people exposed every day to be able to tell them about your music, but also your book. And that's such a populous part of the world. I would think you got to consider yourself a little bit blessed to be part of that kind of community.
Yeah, I mean, what's good is you're crossing. It's like kind of like cross marketing, because on Facebook, there's so many groups, music groups, as well as the book groups. So I could put the link to the group, to the book in a music group, and they're not going to kick me. They're not going to kick me off for that.
Because
you know what I mean? Put it to a music video, and then promote it on a music page as well as, and they do that on the book page as well. Put a video on a book page with the link to the book.
Well, let's get back to the book for a sec then, because you have a brethren in musicality, Bob Dylan. He was considered a poet, but he's also a musician. And I think his poetry is way better than his musicality, which is not the case of you. But how much your poetry makes it into your music, and vice versa? How many of your songs make it into your poetry?
I think maybe you're a little confused. My music is basically cover.
Yeah,
I do a lot of cover stuff. I really don't do.
You don't do a lot of writing?
Right. No, not songs. This is my first book. I've never really sat down with anybody to write music. I was fortunate when I was very young to get into cover bands and play clubs.
Yeah.
And I make money at it. Yeah. So, I rolled with it, I went with it. But yeah, I mean, it's going good. I mean, and the music, it's pretty much a seasonal thing, because once winter hits, and the pandemic just killed everything.
Yeah.
As far as music, I mean, I have friends that are in the music business that that's what they do full time.
Yeah,
and they just couldn't even make a living. You know what I mean? But I was fortunate in a sense last summer that where I play at during the summer, he didn't close or anything. Mm-hmm. And I got to play outside a lot. This way it didn't affect anything. And we were within guidelines. But yeah, I mean, all that's going pretty good.
That's awesome. Hey, since we're talking about it, let's give everybody a little bit of taste of your work on the stage. I got a video I'm going to play you right now, and this is Daniel performing at one of his gigs. But here, take a look at Daniel, and here's one of his performances. Spring is springing here in the desert, and there's all kinds of life coming out of the woodwork, so to speak, including bubbling up from the ground. And life is springing forth. And one of the things that is springing forth right now is my book, Whither We Tend. Hi, I'm Captain Christopher German for The Charted Life and for Whither We Tend. And guess what? We just had some phenomenal numbers come down in the last 3 days from Google Analytics. It just reported this morning, and there's 165,000 different people that looked at my ad yesterday. Just in one day, 165,000 people. It started at 0 3 days ago, and all of a sudden we are blowing up. So if you would like to check it out, it is available on my website at thechartedlife.net/whither we tend. You can get the print version there. I will sign it for you. You can get that copy there as well. Or you can get the audio version or the ebook version. It's all available at thechartedlife.net/whither we tend. And if you would like to, you can download Audible. And Audible is a way to check out all kinds of books. And they're all available absolutely free of charge for $14.99 a month. And you can get that link on my website as well. It just at the bottom of the page, click on Download Audible, and you'll be able to download Whither We Tend on the spot right there with that app. I'm Captain Christopher German, and life is happening here in the desert, and it is really a great time to be alive. 70 degrees we're going to hit today, I think, and it's going to get up to about 150 degrees by the time this summer's here. So, whew, boy howdy, it's the desert. But I'm having a good time, and I hope you are too. So thanks for watching, and have yourselves a beautiful day. Bye-bye. All right, welcome back. And what did you think of that? That was amazing, wasn't it, folks? Now, we've talked a lot about how he is a musician, and we really, this is a book show. So let's start talking about his book. Let's take a look at that book real quick. Stick it up for us, would you, Dan? Thoughts of Expression. And if you, like I said, you can catch this thing up on Kindle, and you can catch it up on Amazon, and it's on Barnes and Nobles. It's everywhere out there. I downloaded it onto my Kindle and read it. Hey, Daniel, we're still in the winter months here, and one of the first poems in the book is Winter. Can you give us a read of Winter by any chance?
Yeah, sure.
It's one of my favorite poems, actually, because quite frankly, I have Eastern European heritage, and we embrace our winters from our Eastern European world. So that poem really hit me, and so that's one of the reasons why I've asked Daniel to read it. And once he finds it, he will, by all means, I think he'll read it for us. Let's see.
You sure that's in the book? Oh yeah, here it is. Like, I don't know the order of this. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I settle in for a long winter's night, reflecting back to the hot summer nights and days with my woman and memories we made. Now it's time for the calm effect of season change as I close another chapter in the book we call life.
Yeah, and that's kind of, it gives you a feel for a lot of the poetry that he has in this book. They're actually most of them are pretty short poems, but you hit on all types of subjects. What are some of the other subjects that you cover in your poetry?
Fear. Some of it's about political climate. The way it's been in the country. Change. A lot of love poems. Just different feelings, like seasons changing, how you feel about that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I picked up the book literally 2 weeks after Valentine's Day. And I was thinking if I read it 2 weeks before, I would have bought it for my wife, because there is a tremendous amount of amorous feelings that could be reduced from this book. And the thing is I think I kind of enjoyed just opening up a bottle of wine and sitting down and reading a couple of poems. It's not necessarily a book that you have to sit down and read cover to cover, but it's there when you want to have an inspiration, or you want to have a moment to just kind of reflect. And I think one of the things I really enjoyed about it is I think you do hit upon the intensity of the feelings with your words, and that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about most of. I can't recall every single poem in the book, but
right.
You had trouble finding a poem in the book.
Yeah, I was like, where is it at? Oh God. But
if you wrote this for your wife, what does your wife think about the book?
She loves it. And I'm almost done with my second one. I'll probably putting it out early April, or early May rather, late April. But she loves them. She was the inspiration to write the first one. Yeah. And I bounced them off of her. Like, I'll write a new one. I'll be like, what do you think about that? And she'll critique it or tell me it's good, or not.
Well, and that I think is a universal. Stephen King talks about it in his On Writing. He talks about the person that does the 9 to 5 job and allows you to write your books. And I have the same thing. Is I'll get through like 5-6 chapters into a book. I'm like, Jen, you got to read this thing, because if it's crap, I don't want to continue with this thing. But if it's good, I need to know it. And so, how much of your wife is in your writing, and how is she kind of like your editor in chief, or how do you work her into the whole thing?
Well, when the first book, when I came out with the first book, she picked the cover. This cover, is not it's like a I wouldn't call it a caricature. It's a photograph that was turned into this, that time look. And actually that's from a solo gig that I did at a place called the X Bar, and that's where we first met.
Oh, really?
I had a week stay there. I did a week gig there, and that's where we first, started to get to know each other, and talked about what we wanted out of life and that kind of thing. And I mean, pretty much that's where we fell in love, but so that's she was the inspiration for that, and a lot of the love poems in there.
Well, and I think I speak for men everywhere. If you're looking for something that you need to entertain your wife with, and you want to find something that is going to touch her heart, this, I think, is a great opportunity as such. Get the book, give it to her, write your name in it, and say, you know what, Daniel gave these poems to me, and I'm going to give them to you, and it'll get you out of Dutch if you're in Dutch with your wife.
I tell every guy I know, use this book.
Use the book.
Searching for mine, or shaking a song. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know it's my own damn fault.
Hey there, and thank you for tuning in to the Authors Exchange. This is a weekly program that's going to air on Fridays at noon, and you'll be able to download it and catch it on all your favorite Apple and Spotify and Stitcher and Podcast Addict, Podchaser, podcasts, all kinds of other ones that are coming down the pipe as your favorite apps or how you listen to your podcasts. We're going to be talking to authors from all the newest books that are out there, and you can catch all of these authors on the website at thechartedlife.net, where we will host these episodes as well as profiles on these authors and their books if you would like to download them. So thanks for tuning in, and make sure you tune in every week, Fridays at noon, to the Authors Exchange. Well, hey, Daniel, we're approaching the 0 hour for what, because these are just short little blurbs. We don't want to go too crazy on social media. So, is there anything I need to put out about this book that I've forgotten to mention?
Nah, pretty much. Just, to authors out there, just do it, man. I mean, don't procrastinate. Like, I'm almost 60. I wish I would have did this a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Because now I know just from my experience, it's a great experience. So don't ever sell yourself short. Do it. Just go ahead and write it, publish it, get behind it. You know what I mean? Just like you did,
Well, and I think that's how we're going to end every episode, is we're going to get the thoughts on why you should write your book. I think that might be a question we need to add into this show. Hey, Daniel, it's been awesome talking with you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and sitting down with me. This is going to go out on I think it'll be out on Friday at noon. I'm going to publish it on the channels. First of all, Spotify is going to have it, and then a whole bunch of others as the week goes on. And if you would like to get on this show, make sure that you send me an email, info@thechartedlife.net, and give me your email address. I'll send you a Zoom invite, and you can join Zoom. You can do it from the comfort of your home. You don't even have to come out to Bullfrog, Utah, and hang out with me and talk in the studio, because we're still doing COVID stuff these days. But hey, Daniel, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, and this is the Authors Exchange. I'm Captain Christopher German, and we will be back next week with a brand new episode, noon on Fridays. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. This happened when I forgot the camera was rolling. It's an honest conversation about Whither We Tend, with me, the author, Christopher German. It contains profanity. Lots of profanity. This was in no way staged or scripted. If it had been planned, I would have turned off the radio. Angry, sad, and frustrated. And the reason they have that is because they're seeing a country that's dissolving before their very eyes, and they want to get back to where they are. They choose different paths to try and get back to a place that they think is where they're supposed to be. But the thing that brings us all together, and the thing that we all share, is we're fearful, and we're sad, and we're frustrated, and we want an America that we all think once was.
Or that we all participate in.
That we all participate in.
And that's really, but Gus and Simon both want an America in which everyone has fair participation.
Both Gus and Simon want that?
Gus definitely wants it.
Gus is big on that. I don't think Simon cares so much. And Gus is the average American, I think. Because Gus is like, or Simon, I should say, is the average American. It's like, they're just worried about their stuff. They're worried about their world. They're scared, and they want to be protected. You know, like they don't feel confident that, you know, anybody's looking out for them. And so they're going to do whatever they can to fucking stay alive. Gus, on the other hand, is a proactive type A personality, and Gus says, fuck this, I'm going to build my own fucking nation because they're not doing it for me.
Because I want it to go back to the way it once was, but better.
Yeah.
So if he is not fearful, and he is not anxious, and he is not angry, and he is not frustrated, then why else would he want to secede?
Well, he is all those things. I wanted to...
I didn't
want to create a character in Gus that he's just pissed off and he wants to raid the fucking Capitol because his taxes went up. It's such a shallow way of looking at it. With Gus, I wanted the frustration. I wanted the world to know what it's like when the government takes away your fucking business, and the government says, "Fuck you, you can't do anything because there's corrupt politicians up there." Gus is me. Gus had his business taken from him and is completely fucking frustrated. The difference between me and Gus is Gus was trained to be be a warrior, and he starts a fucking army because he's pissed off at the government. Simon, on the other hand, is the other side of me, who's the academic, you know, worrywart that's not capable of doing any kind of real action and whatnot, but he needs some kind of fucking empowerment to get against all these fucking things that seem to be happening.
And voting and rioting and signing petitions and supporting your politician doesn't seem like enough?
It doesn't seem to be doing a goddamn thing, has it? If you look at it, I'm from 1976. The world has just slipped farther and farther away from the average American to be an attainable place.
But is it an average white American, or is it an average American of color?
Well, the people of color have never had a chance to be part of it, but they were told it existed at least at one point in the past. But the truth of the matter is white people are pissed because they don't have it anymore, and black people are pissed because they never had it. But the truth of the matter is we're both pissed because we live in a country that says we're supposed to have it.